You're listening to Disruption Radio with Cheryl.WTF. Today's episode is Trickle Down Economics, more like Trickle Up, why you're still waiting for the benefits. Brought to you by our sponsor, Hexadaisy. No minimum order quantity promotional products for small businesses. Visit Hexadaisy today for more information. That's spelled Hexa, daisy.com. If you've ever felt frustrated by a paycheck that doesn't stretch far enough, watch prices rise while your income stays stagnant, or wondered why only a handful of people seem to get richer while the rest of us struggle, you're not alone. And you're not wrong to feel that something's seriously off. It's easy to feel that there must be an answer, something simple that could fix it all. But the truth isn't quite that simple. The comforting idea we've been told goes something like this. Let the wealthiest people and companies grow richer, and eventually their wealth will trickle down to everyone else. It sounds reasonable on the surface. If big corporations and billionaires have more money, they'll create more jobs, pay higher wages, and help the rest of us rise, right? Well, it could be right if humans weren't greedy. But the fact of the matter is you can't ignore human nature when forming economic policy. The fat cat isn't reaching out to help. It's keeping all that wealth to itself and its shareholders. This isn't just a metaphor. Statistics show that over the last several decades, income inequality has grown, and the ultra-wealthy have reaped the majority of economic gains, while real wages for the average worker have stagnated. In other words, the rich get richer, and the rest of us just get struggle. The pay ratio of CEO to typical worker compensation was 351 to 1 in 2020. Compare that to 21 to 1 in 1965 and 61 to 1 in 1989. Now you know why you're struggling more than you used to. So why does this keep happening? It would be easy to blame this on greedy fat cats alone. And don't get me wrong, they deserve a good portion of it. But here's the thing, they aren't the only problem. Politicians who champion trickle down know it's not working for most people, but they continue to use it because it keeps the wealthiest donors happy and in control. It's a policy that looks good on paper and makes a nice soundbite, but it keeps the status quo firmly in place. When people stop buying the soundbite, politicians pivot with a sleight of hand that's as skilled as Harry Houdini. They distract us by pointing the finger at marginalized people such as immigrants, the poorer than us, and the LGBTQ community. And we want to believe them. Not because we're terrible people who want to hate other people, though some of us might be. But no, largely, it's because it's easy. We are exhausted. We're working long hours for not enough pay, commuting for hours each day because we can't afford to live where we work. And in what little time is left, trying to take care of children in homes because we can no longer afford to have one adult at home to do that full-time work, nor can we afford to hire anyone to do it for us. Trying to wrap our heads around complex and intertwining economic and political realities is just more than we can manage. And if we do manage it, the crushing sense of impossibility makes us feel powerless to change anything, let alone our lot in life. So we believe. We close our eyes and our hearts, and we believe in the blame placed on the other. We believe our problems have a simple solution, if only we take 10 minutes to cast a vote for the right person. And like magic, they wave their wand and poof, the promise of the American dream will once again be within reach. And we take solace in the fact that we're still better off than that other group who is simultaneously disenfranchising us with some secret hidden power that they don't actually have. It's an appealing idea because it's simple and it feels immediate, but it's nothing but a comforting lie. So what's actually trickling out? When we talk about trickle out instead of trickle down, we're pointing to the reality that the wealth the rich accumulate doesn't circulate back to the average person. Instead, it leaks out of communities and flows back into the hands of the wealthy elite and corporations. Here's what we actually get. higher cost of living. Wealthy corporations buy up properties and increase housing prices, making rent and home ownership unreachable for many. Stagnant wages. Despite productivity gains, wage growth has largely flatlined for average workers. The promise that wealthier companies would pay better has mostly been empty. Reduced public services. Tax cuts for the rich have drained resources for essential services like education, healthcare, and infrastructure, leaving everyone else paying more for less. And job insecurity. Corporations benefiting from trickle-down policies are notorious for slashing jobs, automating roles, and outsourcing labor, all while padding executive pay. So let's talk about why it hurts so much. For many people, there's a sense of betrayal underneath the anger. After years of hard work, they feel that the system they were promised isn't delivering. And when someone comes along and tells them that it's all someone else's fault, the lazy workers, the regulations, the outsiders, it feels good to believe. But the harsh truth is that the very policies that keep benefiting those at the top are designed to keep doing exactly that. To create meaningful change, we have to look beyond the comforting lies and face the uncomfortable reality that trickle-down policies were never built to help us, and those in power know it. So before we could talk about solutions, there's another economic myth that we need to dispel. We need to address this myth that goes hand in hand with the myth of trickle-down economics. We need to clarify that the phrase redistribution of wealth actually means something other than what you think. It's a terrible term, to be honest. That's by design too. It sounds like theft from you, but it isn't. There is theft occurring from you right now, and it's not your taxes, it's not the welfare system, and it's not from those with less than you. Those are all lies they feed you with their sleight of hand magic tricks. Stop letting them trick you. Trickle-down economics is theft from the 90% to the 10%. Every time you receive a paycheck, they've stolen from you. Every time you shop in a big box store because there aren't any mom and pop stores left, they've stolen from you. Every time you make that big purchase on Black Friday at a 70% discount from the artificially increased holiday price, they've stolen from you. Every time they cut Social Security or fail to raise it, they've stolen from you. Every time they raise the cost of your health insurance while cutting the benefits, they've stolen from you. This is trickle-down economics in action. This is the redistribution of wealth from the 90% to the 10%. To solve our quality of life problems, we need to ensure that everyone is getting their fair share. And trust me, there is more than enough to go around. We need to redistribute the wealth. But let's call it what it really is. Let's call it create a fair and generous system for all, including you. So what's the real solution? The real solution isn't as flashy or as simple as politicians might want us to believe. It's about rebuilding from the ground up with policies that ensure wealth actually benefits everyone, that efficiency gains and automation benefit everyone, not just those holding the reins at the top. Some examples, and this list is not exhaustive: fair taxation, ensuring that corporations and the wealthy pay their fair share so communities have the resources to thrive. Living wages, raising wages to match productivity and the real cost of living so people don't have to struggle to make ends meet. And when I say that, I do not mean raising the minimum wage. That doesn't work, and we all know it. We need to raise all wages by regulating that CEO to worker pay ratio and the benefits that go with them. We have to regulate that gap while simultaneously prohibit price gouging, overall profit margins, monopolies, trusts, and shareholder profits to ensure that as the wages go up, the prices do not. We need to reinvest in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We need to use tax dollars to support the very things that allow us to keep, gain, and maintain life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Things like healthcare, education, and infrastructure that benefit everyone, not just the few. And we need corporate accountability. We need to prevent companies from extracting wealth from local communities without contributing to local economies. These are not quick fixes. They're complex, and they require us to reject the comforting lies of trickle-down economics and instead demand policies that build real economic security for all of us. And they require politicians willing to vote for things that may not benefit them as a politician. So wrapping up, it is okay to feel angry. Honestly, we should be angry. But the next time a fat cat in a suit tries to tell you that your best bet is to give them more wealth, remember this: their wealth isn't meant to trickle down. It's meant to trickle out. And until we start demanding real change, that's all we're going to get. So let's put our anger where it counts, toward a future where wealth doesn't just trickle, but actually flows to everyone. Thanks for your time. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. This has been Disruption Radio with Cheryl.WTF.